Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. I have several serious topics I would like to discuss tonight. The first one is going to be regarding a big problem with the eBay Guaranteed Fitment program in eBay Motors and how it's badly hurting sellers. I touched on this last week. We're going to get deeper into it tonight with more examples. I'm also going to show you something that's going to make your jaw drop. A lot of you guys complain that eBay will not let sellers leave buyers negative feedback even when they deserve it. I have told you in the past that there was a very small percentage of sellers that abused the privilege. Tonight, on the Crazy New York Driver Show, I am going to show you something that's ongoing that you're not going to believe. I spotted it last night. I recorded the screenshots earlier today, and I had to redact some information, and you'll understand why later. Your jaw is going to freaking drop. I want to give you an update on the fact that quite a few, or a decent amount, of sales that eBay tells us are going to be paid immediately are not. Got to tell you about that and my update from my presentation last week on that. Before we get started, just like I always do, right now, believe it or not, it's actually partly sunny out. All right? Partly sunny. After today, nothing but clouds and rain. How many days straight do you think we're going to have of clouds and rain? 2? Get lost. 4? Child's play. 6? 8? Keep going. Nothing but clouds and rain for 2 more weeks. So I have that to look forward to. Let's get started. I want to talk about what I mentioned last week about immediate payment not always working. I have noticed on certain accounts, like the one I showed you last week, that I never, ever get paid immediately. With this particular person, I told you they are a big importer-exporter, and I'm willing to bet money right now. I'm going to put money out here. Money's coming out, money time, okay? As much as you want. I don't know what's here. It's a fixed stack. Whatever I got, I'm willing to bet money that at least some of you watching this video have heard of this famous importer-exporter. I'm not saying you dealt with him on eBay or anywhere, but you've heard of him at least. His name is Art Vandelay. He does importing and exporting. Right now, he's concentrating on the exporting, which is why he's been buying a lot more from me. I showed you last week I had 8 items that were not paid for, and I told you it usually takes anywhere from 2 to 4 days. And last week it took about 2.5 days, I think. All right, the payment cleared. I shipped the items, no problem. The other day, Art Vandelay comes in and buys 3 more items from me. He sent me best offers, lower than the price I'm asking, but I don't mind that because they're dog items, and he ships them overseas where he marks them up considerably. And this time, it only took him a day and a half, which is one of his fastest recorded payments ever. So, in the comment section below, I'd like to know if any of you guys have ever heard of Art Vandelay, the famous importer-exporter. And I'm sure some of you have. All right, next, I want to talk about eBay Guaranteed Fitment. This really upsets me. I showed you in last week's video a concrete example. Did I show it to you or did I just tell you? No, I showed you. I showed you where the buyer admitted he bought the wrong item. He's honest, he made a mistake, but eBay is making me pay for shipping both ways because the buyer entered his vehicle in the guaranteed fitment space, okay? Well, what happens? Same thing again this week. Let's do screenshot number 1. We're going to do a cutaway. I want to show you what's going on right now. Let's take a look at all my open returns as of Friday, March 1st. Now, those of you guys who've been watching my videos for the last few weeks will recognize the 2 at the bottom. I've talked about them and they're still open. But for now, let's talk about the 2 on the top. The first one is the Cadillac center cap, where the buyer claims doesn't fit my vehicle. He's telling the truth because he bought the wrong size. Let's look briefly at the listing itself. This is the listing itself right here. Okay, what I want to point out is in the pictures, look, I actually took a picture of the part number. Notice it ends in 663. Now, even if you didn't notice that, as you go down to the description, I clearly have right here, look, the part number ending in 663 once again. Now, let's take a look at the eBay return for this specific item. The return reason is correct. Doesn't fit my vehicle. Hi, thanks for the fast shipping. This cap is too big. I need center cap number ending in number 650. All right? You can clearly see it's not the exact one that I listed. The buyer made a mistake, which is understandable. All right? It's not good news, but it's understandable. However, once again, eBay is clocking me for the return shipping and the original shipping. And this is just plain wrong, okay? This is absolutely disgusting. It's a problem with the eBay Guaranteed Fitment program, which is a total loser in my opinion. Whoever wrote the program didn't write it correctly. Let's go back now and let's talk about this one. You may remember in last week's video, I told you that the buyer contacted me 2 days after making the purchase, wanting me to change the address. I told him it was too late, it was already shipped, but that if it came back to me, I would give him a full refund of the purchase price only, not the shipping. He harassed me for 2 more days, and then what does he do? He opens a case. Not actually a case, a return. Can you believe it? He wants to return items that he's never received. He actually just went and hung himself. At first, I thought maybe he did receive the items. But now, let's get back to the regular video. I want to show you something. I'm going to start off by reading the negative feedback left by the buyer, and we'll start on top here. I won the seller's 7-day auctions for 2 items, overpaid for shipping, and the seller didn't even acknowledge the sale for over 11 days. I later noticed from another reviewer that he likes to wait a month before shipping. If I could give this seller 0 stars, I would. You might want to giving any business to this person. Hope eBay will step in to refund my order. Now the seller replied, and as you can see, I blocked out all the personal information, but he has actually posted the person's name, address, and phone number in his response. You can see I crossed it out here. I left just a few things in so you could see I'm telling the truth about this. And he wrote, whatever his name is a liar and a cheat, and I contacted him as soon as I was notified by eBay, and I paid for the shipping and combined the items, and he replied with a cancellation and a negative feedback, slander, and defamation of character. The buyer then wrote again, a follow-up comment, and said, I finally received my refunds from eBay. Ladies and gentlemen, run away from this clown at all costs. The seller turned into a complete tool, publishing my private info, name calling, profanity, all because he was in the wrong and upset I wanted to cancel. He went even as far as to threaten baseless legal action. This has been quite a soap opera with this immature seller. He's lucky I don't take him to court. There's no way he could defend what he has done. I've saved everything. All right, that's item number one. And then, as you know, the person bought two items, and this here is just a repeat of the same exact feedback. I am absolutely appalled that this feedback is still up. What I'm referring to is this right here, okay? Now let me show you something else. This is the feedback that the buyer left for the seller in question. But do you want to see the feedback the seller left for the buyer? This is really going to surprise you. Watch this. Okay? This is it. Apparently, he posted the buyer's name, address, and phone number, just like he did in what I just showed you. eBay removed the green dots, which you can see are gone, and the feedback, and there's just two dots. I don't see what the purpose of that is or what it counts as, and I'm also not sure why eBay was willing to remove this, but not this. Okay, let's get back to the video now because I want to talk about this some more. Now, I want to touch on the two topics from that cutaway. The first one, eBay Guaranteed Fitment, is a freaking joke. Whoever wrote this does not understand cars at all, okay? This has been a complaint of mine since about 2012. I've cried how, in my opinion, people who work for eBay Motors probably don't know all they should about vehicles. In the example I showed you, the guy purchased a Cadillac center cap from me. So let's just say I listed it as year 1996. Just because this person has a 96 Cadillac, that doesn't mean it's going to fit. They make so many different wheels, you have to go by the part numbers, which is why I furnish the part numbers. People ignore them. Go ahead and buy it because it looks like theirs. Get them and return the item. I don't mind the return. These things happen. I do mind being charged shipping both ways by eBay. You're wrong, eBay, for doing this, all right? You better fix this quickly. When I get these items back, I am going to toggle off the original shipping, and I'm going to be taking a deduction for the return shipping. Because right is right and fair is fair. Comments welcome. I also told you about the person with the invalid address and the alloy wheel center caps. I have here in my hand the actual box. You can see right there, look. Return to sender, vacant, unable to forward, return to seller, okay? That is another one. He claimed he didn't receive his item. I said, fine. When I get it back, I will give you the price of the item back. But he wanted me to ship it to him again, which I wouldn't do because I ain't paying double shipping. But he wouldn't even wait to get the money back. He opened he opened a return request. Now what do I do? I'm in limbo. All right? I have two choices what I could do now. I could do this, look, and not worry about it and let it time out. Or I don't know if eBay is going to let me give him a partial refund of just the item price. I don't think they will. And I don't feel like contacting them on just this one issue, but maybe I will. I haven't decided yet. Last time when I had one of these, if you remember, the buyer then, before it even timed out, he escalated it to a case. And eBay gave the buyer back his money and let me keep the original transaction money too. So what would you guys do in that case? Okay? I told you today's video was going to be very, very interesting. But the best is yet to come, folks. And we're going to hit that right now. Negative feedback. There is nothing that strikes fear in the heart of an eBay seller than negative feedback, especially if it's unwarranted. Jesus, man, I've never seen so much unwarranted negative feedback in the last 2 years. The Facebook groups are all complaining, and they're also complaining that eBay will not remove it even when it's an obvious unwarranted feedback. I had a friend of mine get hit this week with two of them, a negative and a neutral, both unwarranted. The negative said, item was used with scratches. Wait, did I say negative or neutral on that one? That was the neutral. The neutral said, item was used with scratches, but the description clearly said used with scratches. Cut and dry, right? He tried using the feedback removal tool and he was denied. That's absolutely freaking pathetic. Once he did that, and he contacted me, I said, contact eBay for Business through Facebook. This is a slam dunk. And it was, instantly. He then received a negative feedback that said, took too long to arrive, or something to that effect. And the timestamps clearly showed he shipped the item the next day, and it arrived at his house when it was supposed to. Another slam dunk. This time he just went right to eBay for Business through Facebook, and they took it away from him, which was great. eBay for Business through Facebook usually is pretty darn good. But that automated tool leaves a lot to be desired. But what I want to really get into right now, and you guys have been loud and vociferous about this, is why eBay will not let us leave bad feedback for bad buyers. And let me tell you something. Personally, I agree with you. If a person doesn't pay, we should be allowed to leave them negative feedback. Or if a person misuses the feedback, like the ones I just told you, for instance, they lie outright. All right? That's misusing the feedback. We should be allowed to, reciprocate. But I mean, for most sellers, I can understand why we wouldn't be leaving negative feedback for most buyers. But I don't know, man. I thought long and hard how to present the following to you. I was going to do it orally. Then I said, well, maybe I should do screenshots, but I'm going to have to do a lot of redacting. And that's exactly what I just got finished doing. So let me set up the scenario before we go to the screenshots. Last night, I was killing time on eBay because I still like to shop for items that I can buy cheap, flip for more money. Back in the early days of eBay, that was very easy to do. Now it's a lot more difficult because people have jacked their prices up, and plus there's a lot of hungry buyers like myself that will snatch the stuff up to resell it on their own. So I came across a single item that I wanted to purchase. The item is going to end today, Friday, so last night I put it in my watch list. But what concerned me was the seller's feedback was 95%. Which, as you know, on eBay is a terrible, terrible number. Nothing but a good cup of coffee there. So I clicked on his feedback just to see, what was the deal. Oh my God, my jaw dropped to the ground when I saw this. Let's stop the video. Let me do the presentation with the screenshots. Then we'll come back for a summation. Well, guys, what did you think of that? I can honestly tell you it's been many years since I've seen anything so outlandish and outrageous. Who is wrong and why are they wrong? Now, obviously, no seller should ever dox somebody like that and put their name, address, and phone number. That's wrong, okay? You shouldn't do that. Do you know how bad this looks? Imagine you're just a regular civilian, you're a buyer, and you come across this kind of thing, you would probably think twice about buying on eBay, because you might say, I may get a screwball like this seller who's going to dox my information all over the place. It could happen, right? Right. Now, why hasn't eBay removed this? Apparently, the buyer called up to complain because I showed you the second screenshot where the seller's comments were removed. All right? I imagine that he put the person's name, address, and phone number there too. But why didn't eBay remove the other information that was the response to the negative feedback left by the buyer? And there's something else that I find a little concerning from the end of the buyer. Neither one seems to be telling the whole story, but it seems to me the buyer bought two cheap items. I think one was $9.99 and one was $6.99, or approximately. And she was complaining about the shipping, which is too bad, because you can't complain about the shipping once you've made the purchase. You're agreeing to the shipping, all right? And also, the person mentioned a cancellation, that they wanted to cancel. So that also is a little suspect. So really, I see three huge problems with what I just showed you that I'd like everybody to address and give me your opinion on. One, a seller leaving a buyer's name, address, and phone number. Two, eBay not removing that information from the response to the negative feedback. Three, the buyer. Are they telling the truth? Because, as I said, their comment just doesn't quite sit right with me. They complain about the shipping, which they don't have the right to. They said they wanted to cancel, and if they did, they shouldn't be allowed to leave feedback. I mean, the whole thing is just a royal mess. I went through the trouble of blocking out all the personal information of the eBay buyer, because you shouldn't be putting their name out like that. And of course, the seller, I blocked him out too. If anybody from eBay is watching this video and wants to know more about this, you feel free to contact me. But if you're a civilian, no, I'm not going to spread it. Not happening. But have you seen anything like this in a long time? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this, sadly, guys, is why eBay will not let us leave negative feedback for bad buyers, because there are some people that will take it too far. That's the proof. Guys, I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video enjoyable and informative. Remember, it's now your turn. I did my job. I presented the material. You have to comment on it, give me your opinion, your thoughts, and all that. Hope you make a lot of money this week on eBay. Rock on and peace.